with us a guest named Natasha Barber. She is the author of the children's book series Tommy's Lessons. She's the mom to an 11-year-old son with autism who inspired her to become an autism safety advocate blogger. She said she's had her fair share of safety scares. One afternoon, Joshua escaped his aftercare program, ran onto a 50-mile-per-hour road. Traffic stopped. Thankfully, he wasn't injured. However, that was the day Natasha had her epiphany and her sense of safety heightened immensely. She was suddenly propelled into a hyper safety mode, wanted to make sure this could never happen again, signed up for safety workshops to learn more, found that so many parents were uneducated, and that's when she took this on as a cause. She has since developed a website, Facebook page, and Instagram focused on keeping young autistic children safe. Welcome to the show, Natasha. Good resume there.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
So happy to have you.
We're thrilled because we've been wanting to have this interview with you for a while. Let's start by talking about your amazing son and how wonderful he is. Tell us a little bit about him.
Thank you. So Joshua, he was diagnosed when he was about 2 years old, nonverbal. He didn't really have attention to detail in his surroundings. He really, the no fear, he just didn't understand safety. And then over the course of development, we started realizing that safety was becoming more and more of a concern out in the community and in the school, not just in the home. So, we started by climbing and little things that you would normally childproof anyways, and it just became more of a wandering risk where he could hurt himself. Very focused on running in towards the lake that we had in the back. So anyways, Joshua right now has significantly progressed. He's in therapy every single day, more vocal now. I'm very proud of him. He's making leaps and bounds and strides, but we still have the safety concerns of him not understanding what a stranger is or understanding what traffic is. So we're still constantly, I've got a GPS on him. I monitor him everywhere he goes, and we're just working towards getting that awareness and getting that safety understanding.
And how old is he again now?
He actually just turned 12.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so time flies.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, how did you get started as a writer, Natasha?
Actually, when Joshua escaped the first time at his before-after care, I started writing, just writing everything that we were doing over the course of that year that he had escaped, and we had that major safety scare. And then when I went to the workshops and started listening to other parents and their worries and concerns, I started realizing I wanted to write more of a safety manual. And so it grew, the writing grew, and eventually it became a full-fledged manual. And I held back from publishing it because I realized nobody knew me as safety mom or anything safety or autism related. So I held back and started the websites and the Instagram and news feeds. And then actually one day my oldest, because I have 2 boys, and my oldest was in before after care, and I picked him up early, and he was playing dodgeball, and he was kind of upset with me because I picked him up early, and so I was trying to make light of it and trying to make him a little happier, and I'm like, so how was your day? And he's like, oh, you know what my day was like. And I'm like, well, no, did you eat your lunch? And he was kind of a little bit grumpy, and he was really small. He was only like 6 or 7 at the time. And I'm like, oh, so you ate my tomato guacamole onion sandwich? And he's like, well, no. And I had just thrown out all the ingredients that I knew he hated just to get a smile on his face. And I actually liked the whole combination of my tomato guacamole onion sandwich. I really liked it, wrote it down, and over the course of that month, it just became my first Tommy's Lessons book.
Okay.
Love it.
And you've written a couple of those Tommy's Lessons books, right?
Yep, we're actually on the 4th one right now. My illustrator is working on finishing up the illustrations.
And where are those books available?
They're all available on Amazon, and they're kind of like Dennis the Menace with a little bit of magic flair. So it's a little guy who's 7 years old. His name's Tommy. He has a pet mini pincher and that follows him everywhere, and he manages to get into trouble without really intentionally doing it, whether he didn't know something. But at the end, he always learns a lesson. It's not what he was supposed to learn, and he always has a perception that there was some type of magic that was the reason that caused, him getting in trouble.
Right. And then after you wrote that book series, you wrote the first autism awareness children's book, The Waiting Song. Is that correct?
I did, yes. So the Waiting Song actually is inspired by Joshua. Joshua, when he was in therapy, he had a really hard time with the understanding of the actual concept of waiting, and it was actually quite unsafe, because if something didn't go his way, or he had to wait for, like, for instance, his video that was buffering, he would literally throw it in the air, go flying, and bolt. And of course he didn't have that understanding of what he was running into. Sometimes he'd fall to the ground, so again, he wasn't looking at his surroundings of what he would be falling into. So it was quite scary for us, and a concern. So the therapist started a waiting program, and the waiting program, over the course of a month, he started developing, in order to cope with waiting, he started developing this cute little jingle. And so I called his teacher, I called his therapist. I'm like, did you guys teach him that? And they were like, no, we didn't. So one night I wrote down the songs, the lyrics to his waiting song. And at the same time, we had one of his therapists came in one day, and she's like a sister to us. And she had a pet hedgehog named Nigel, who had just died that night before. And so we're like, oh, I'm so sorry, but yet what a cool name for a hedgehog. And she loved Josh. Josh adored her. So I asked her, what about if we make Nigel come back, because she was so upset. Let's make him come back, and Josh will be the inspiration, and his name will be Nigel. And so over the course of that little time period, I created the Waiting Song, and it's about Nigel who can't wait, and he learns to cope. He's in an inclusion class, and we made the characters kind of threw in the diversity aspect, because a lot of the characters in the book, it's a boar, it's a giraffe, a zebra, as you can see, a hedgehog. These aren't characters you typically would see, like they're not the nice fluffy white bunny or teddy bear. So we kind of threw in the diversity aspect, and then the children learn that what Nigel's all about, and his disability of having autism, which in Nigel's case, he learns a little bit slower, he has trouble waiting, and at the end, everybody, learns a lesson on diversity and disabilities. And I think it's a powerful lesson for the elementary kids right now, who, because there's more disabilities in this world, and autism, as everyone knows, it's 1 in 68. I think when Joshua was diagnosed, it was like 1 in 153 or something like that. So it's drastically more kiddos that are getting diagnosed, and I think the elementary kids, they need to understand that, so that they have the empathy and compassion and understanding that not everybody's the same.
Right.
So it's a perfect book for that 3 to 5 year old level, preschool grade.
So these are great. Where can we get them?
All on Amazon. So they're all available on Amazon.
Okay, and then you started a nonprofit organization, Autism Moms No Safety. What motivated you to do that, and tell us about that?
So it's the same when he escaped, and I started learning more about safety and going to all those workshops and writing my manuals. It sparked it when I realized nobody knew me, and I wanted to share what I was learning in all of these workshops, and everything that my husband and I were doing in the home, and trying to get him as safe as we possibly can everywhere he was. So we started with the website, Autism Moms No Safety, and that website has now grown into a nonprofit. And then now we recently launched the Autism Moms No Safety kits. And the kits are just jam-packed full of everything that I could possibly put in a small little kit that is instant, immediate gratification, things that parents can do or get in their hands to start their safety journey with their child. So it's got coupons and samples of temporary bracelets. It's got actual stop signs that you can use as visual prompts on your door or window. It's got a couple little bracelets, like the Trex type bracelets you would get in a fair. So you could put your child's name, perfect for like a school outing or a mall. It's got emergency contact forms in there that you can fill out and give one to your school or one to the bus garage or even police. I dropped one off at the police station and said, this is my son, he's autistic. I want Joshua to be in the 911 registry. And they did. They put him in there. And anytime somebody calls 911, either from my house or for my house, the emergency response crew already knows that Joshua's autistic and a flight risk. So all these different items that I've put in there are just immediate. You get it in your hand, you can start using them or going out and getting your products that people don't really and didn't even realize existed. So I think it's a pretty great package. I've worked with a lot of companies. I'm slowly getting different organizations and corporate sponsors. So it's starting to grow. I've got them actually all over the world now. I've sent some to Australia. I've sent some to England, right up to Ireland and the Philippines, Canada. So they're going everywhere. I think the last count at the end of March was over 513 kits that have gone out or come in as requests. So
how do people request them, Natasha?
So they can go onto my website, either autismmomsnosafety.com, or we just actually rebadged to just very, very recent amks.life. So it's much shorter, but you can go on my website, and under there's a tab for safety kits, and when you scroll down, you'll see like a donate button. So, and then if you keep going down, you'll see all the information, like the spot where you can put in all your information. And then I would get an email notification that there's a kit request that's come in, and
how much do they cost?
So they're free for the parents. I don't charge shipping. I don't charge anything for the parents. They just have to fill in the information and they get a free kit. It's 100%. It started 100% out of pocket. And now I'm trying to work slowly, working with different companies and trying to get grants and whatnot to fund it, and continue funding so I can continue sending out kits. But I don't charge a single cent to any parents.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I have to say that we have somebody who wrote in to the show and said that you're a rock star. It happens to be Carrie Mallory Thompson, who's going to be on the show tomorrow. And she said she was so excited because you're a rock star, and I can completely agree with her and see why she said that.
Now, you have some safety measures that you say that all people need to know after they get an autism diagnosis. Do you want to go through those? Those are like, we have 3 here that you...
You have 3. I don't remember off the top of my head. I actually have another article. I did 5 total.
Okay.
But
well, the first one was safeguarding the doors and the windows.
Yes. So definitely you want to put the door alarms. And actually, this is actually one of the posters I've got in the kit, which is the door alarms that you can put on your doors and windows. You can get them from either Walmart or hardware store. But they're a magnetic-based alarm. They literally have like a double-side sticky tape. You put them on the door and the door jamb, or the window, and then the window side. But it's magnetic-based. So the moment that the 2 separate, meaning the door is open, it will send off like an internal. It doesn't go to any first responder. It's just internal to your home, and it's a chime. Or if you want to step it up, there's a second alarm, which is a much higher pitched sound. But those are fantastic. They're an amazing, red flag. Oh my God, why is my door open and where's my child? So I've got them on every single external door that leads, like the garage door, the outside door, every single door that leads to the outside. Those alarms are on there. And then depending on how much you want to, like how elaborate you want to go, you can either do deadbolts, the chains. I've actually got an electronic door lock. So I went out to Home Depot, bought one of those that it's like a touch keypad that you need to put in a code. It's actually meant to be outside, so you don't need a key to come into your house, and we reversed it. So it's inside. We use a deadbolt to make sure that nobody comes into the house for security reasons, but anybody who's leaving the house has to put in a code. And of course, everybody but Joshua knows that code. And then we've never had an issue with Joshua ever escaping because he doesn't know the code. He can't get out. And the fantastic thing about it is it's almost within seconds. So you open the door, you close the door, and within seconds it instantly locked. So it's quite airproof, if you will.
It's amazing.
But that's the extreme. It's not super expensive. You're looking about $150, but you can go right down to a much lower cost. But definitely make sure all your doors and windows are somehow protected from your child being able to open them, because not all, it is a spectrum, but a lot of the kiddos do have wandering tendencies, and you do need to avoid them escaping when they're not with you.
You also say to secure furniture.
So a lot of the kiddos, they go through the same level of curiosity that your regular developing child would go through. Only the thing is, some of them have a little bit of a slower delay, or they're in that stage longer. So climbing furniture, climbing to get to whatever, or getting to TVs and touching them. Like Joshua still to this day wants to touch Barney right on the TV. You want to prevent furniture from falling on the child, and it's like one of the number one causes. And I don't remember all the statistics off heart, but it's quite scary how many children go to the hospital with injuries or deaths from TVs falling on them. So whatever furniture you can secure, great, do that. There's furniture straps, there's television straps that you can purchase, very economical, at a home hardware store. But at the same token, whatever furniture you can remove from like your child's room or even in the main living space, or rearrange, for sure, definitely do that. Like for me, Joshua would try to climb his dresser drawers. So I removed it. I put it inside his closet, closed the door, done deal, out of sight, out of mind. You put a lock on that door, and he couldn't climb it anymore. So, and of course we don't have any side tables. Might not look as pretty. We have a coffee table. We don't have side tables because he likes to run around and climb over the couch from the other side that he's not supposed to. So why add dangers unnecessarily? But that's the one recommendation for sure, because like I said, he's 11, he just turned 12, but he's still doing all the climbing and running around and jumping that a typical maybe 5-6-year-old would do. So they're in that stage a little longer. So you want to protect them, especially.
I'm sorry. And then another tip that you have is to use visual aids and signs to teach. We love this tip.
Correct. So actually, one of the things I actually have in the kit are 2 laminated stop signs. Fantastic for kiddos who are nonverbal and are visual learners, like my son. You put that stop sign on a door or a window. Actually, any visuals really of dangerous items or visuals period is a big help to kids that are on the spectrum, can't verbalize, or are a visual learner. It's for sure the best way as an additive to prevent them from any type of injury or harm. The other couple things that I had on a different article was a GPS. Personally, for a flight risk or a child who's nonverbal, GPS is the best thing you can have. It's the peace of mind that I never thought I'd ever have until I bought an Angel Sense GPS. I actually worked with Angel Sense because I love the product so much. I actually have a $50 coupon in the safety kits for parents, because I'm an advocate of making sure you have the ability to find out where your child is who's nonverbal within a matter of minutes. I met a parent, which actually is the reason why it sparked the kits themselves, is I met a parent here in Michigan who actually had a child escape from their home. And within the half an hour time period that they called the police, that child had been hit by a car and passed away. So it was a huge impact. I mean, because I couldn't even imagine that pain that parent was going through, and is probably still going through to this day, and it's been many, many, many years. So to prevent, I mean, I've got that GPS on Josh the moment he wakes up till the time he's in his bath, and it's just nice to know if anything were to happen, a door was to open and somebody left it open, I can find him within a foot of where his location is.
It's all of these tips are amazing. Give your website again, Natasha.
So www.autismmomsnosafety.com or just recently amks.life.
Fabulous.
Okay.
Well, you are, Carrie Mallory Thompson is right. You are a rock star. This is all amazing information.
Very important information for parents.
And we hope that people will ask for the safety kit. We hope that people, if they know organizations that want to partner with you, will get in touch with you to do that. And definitely to check out your books because they're amazing.
Thank you so much.